My vision really is a future where co-benefits are mainstreamed. I mean, the WHO has pushed for years the idea that there should be health in all policies. What we should really have in all policies, I would argue, is health, but also health equity and environmental improvement. We need to consider that all, those all as being imperative in what we do across all sectors.
Climate change is ultimately a health issue, and I think this is something that needs to still be reiterated. It affects the air we breathe, the water we drink, it affects our food and the safety of places that we live and work. We're already seeing some of those impacts on our health through things like heat waves, increasing floods, wildfires, risks of droughts, things like spread of diseases. So what we want to do now is we've characterised to some extent the risks and the kind of things that we're trying to avoid. So what we want to do now is focus on what we want and what we're aiming for. So really thinking about how to articulate that vision of the future for where we want to get to. So from the health perspective, we want to ensure that our workplaces and our schools and our healthcare centres are really resilient by design, ideally, so that when extreme weather happens, we're not kind of overwhelmed and we can cope. So we want to build that into the design.
Our vision, my vision, is that nature is seen as critical health and climate infrastructure and shifts from a nice-to-have in health to a must-have. And our Natural England strategy kind of outlines this in that it talks about the role of thriving nature in an equitable and resilient future via nature recovery, building better places, health and well-being, and security.
In the Net Positive Centre, we're trying to look at food systems in their entirety, so looking at how food is produced, how it's sold, and it's consumed. And I suppose the second pitch is thinking about our food resilience. So Tim Lang's brought out excellent reports. There's been lots of different channels where this has been spoken about. And it's not thinking about can we prevent a lot of the things that are happening. We're very aware with climate change that background heat is increasing and we can't necessarily stop it. But can we limit it? And can we actually put some things in place that mean that we have the ability to react to some of these shocks as they're coming our way?
We can implement actions which will have triple benefits. They will both address the environment, improve the environment, they will improve health, and also address inequalities. So, and that's the idea of the Net Positive Centre.
We need to work across sectors. We need to work across local government, health systems, planning, transport, housing, as well as civil society, if we actually want to improve health outcomes using nature as the agent. And this is the conundrum, because there are multiple beneficiaries of those interventions and multiple actors to deliver those interventions. So who should be accountable for the overall design? How should this be funded?
We need to be building spaces which are suited for all kinds of different people in our communities. We need to be thinking of the young, we need to be thinking of the old, and we need to be thinking of those who basically are not in the room most of the time when it comes to decision making. So we need to hear those voices, and that's what we're trying to get through the Net Positive Centre. With engagement with excellent colleagues in humanities and the social sciences, we're delving into those stories that people have about the spaces and what they mean to them. And I think it's important that we hear those voices, we heed them, and we build spaces that are better for all.